191 miles per hour, on one wheel, with a 500 horsepower turbocharged motorcycle balanced perfectly on its rear tire for multiple seconds. That's not a stunt. That's a Guinness World Record set in 1999 by a Swedish mechanic named Patrick Furstenhoff, a record that still stands 26 years later because nobody on Earth has the combination of engineering knowledge, riding skill, and absolute fearlessness required to break it. But here's what makes Patrick's story different from every other world record holder you've ever heard of. That wheelie record was just his warm-up act.
It's not good enough to call it a world record because you need to go for at least 300 yards.
What he did next turned him into the most wanted street racer in European history. For over 2 decades, a masked figure on a turbocharged Hayabusa terrorized Swedish highways at speeds exceeding 300 kilometers per hour. The Ghost Rider became an underground legend, selling millions of DVDs while entire police task forces hunted him across multiple countries. They never caught him, not once. And here's the part that separates Patrick from every single illegal street racer who tried to copy him. While dozens of imitators sit in prison cells across Europe, the original Ghost Rider has never spent a single day behind bars. He's 57 years old in 2025, still free, still riding, and still untouchable. That's not luck. That's calculation. This is the story of how one man exploited legal loopholes, built machines that shouldn't exist, and stayed exactly one step ahead of every system designed to stop him for over 20 years. Let's start with the bikes, because nothing about Ghost Rider makes sense until you understand what Patrick was actually riding. In his most famous videos, he's on a turbocharged Suzuki Hayabusa, producing 499 horsepower. To understand how absolutely insane that number is, you need to know what a turbocharger actually does. Here's the simple version. Your engine burns fuel to make power, but burning fuel requires oxygen from the air. A normal engine just sucks in whatever air comes through the intake naturally. A turbocharged engine forces extra air into the engine under pressure, which means you can burn more fuel, which means you make more power. Way more power. Think of it like this. If you're blowing gently on campfire coals, you get a small flame. Blow hard and you get a bigger flame. A turbocharger is like having an industrial fan aimed directly at your campfire. Same wood, way bigger explosion. A stock Suzuki Hayabusa produces about 197 horsepower from the factory. Patrick's turbocharged version did 499 horsepower. That's 2.5 times more power from the same engine displacement. But you can't just bolt a turbocharger onto a normal motorcycle and call it a day. The factory parts will literally explode from the extra pressure and heat. So Patrick rebuilt the entire engine with forged pistons that can handle extreme temperatures, reinforced connecting rods that won't snap under stress, and a precision-balanced crankshaft. The fuel system had to be completely replaced because more air means you need more fuel, or the engine runs too lean and melts the pistons from the inside out. Custom fuel injectors spray more gasoline, and a programmable computer delivers the exact right amount at every throttle position. Then there's heat management. Compressed air gets hot, and hot air is less dense, which means less oxygen. Turbocharged bikes use intercoolers, basically radiators that cool the compressed air before it enters the engine. Cooler air means more oxygen, which means more power. The chassis needed upgrades too. Racing suspension to keep the bike stable at extreme speeds, extended swing arms so the bike doesn't flip backward under full acceleration, and racing brakes because trying to stop from 350 kilometers per hour with normal brakes causes the brake fluid to boil and you lose all stopping power. Building one of these machines costs between 30,000 euros to 50,000 euros in parts and labor alone, not counting the base motorcycle. They require constant maintenance because every single component operates at its absolute limit. Most people who try building turbocharged bikes end up with garage ornaments that don't run properly, or they crash within months trying to handle power they can't control. Patrick built multiple machines over 2 decades and rode all of them at their limits without ever having a catastrophic mechanical failure caught on camera. That's not luck. That's engineering mastery combined with riding skill that exists in maybe a handful of people worldwide. Compare this to modern street racers riding stock bikes doing 200 horsepower or bikes with basic bolt-on modifications. Patrick was riding machines that required months of custom engineering work, machines that physically shouldn't exist outside professional race teams with million-euro budgets. Now let's talk about why Patrick never went to prison despite filming himself breaking laws for over 20 years. Most people think it's because he was too fast for police to catch. That's completely wrong. What protected Patrick wasn't speed, it was Swedish traffic law and how precisely he exploited it. Here's the critical detail. In Sweden during the early 2000s, prosecutors needed to prove beyond a reasonable doubt who was operating the vehicle during traffic violations. Video evidence alone wasn't enough unless it clearly showed the operator's face or the vehicle's license plate. This is different from other countries. In the United States, if police identify your vehicle through the license plate, they can issue citations even without seeing your face. The registered owner is presumed to be the driver. Germany has similar laws. Sweden required definitive identification, not presumption, definitive proof. Patrick's entire filming strategy exploited this requirement with surgical precision. Full face helmet with dark visor, no facial features ever visible. All black riding gear with no logos or unique markings. License plate either removed or positioned where cameras couldn't capture it clearly. Every video shot from the rider's perspective. You could watch hours of Ghost Rider footage and never see his face while riding, never see a clear license plate, never see anything that definitively proves who was on that motorcycle at that specific moment. Police knew it was him. Motorcycle journalists knew it was him. Everyone knew it was him. But knowing and proving in court are completely different things. In 2006, Swedish authorities formed a dedicated task force specifically to catch Ghost Rider. They analyzed every frame of footage looking for identifying details. They tracked black Hayabusa sales across Scandinavia. They monitored motorcycle forums for any slip-ups. Nothing worked. Patrick distributed DVDs through his own shop with his name on the packaging, and they still couldn't build a prosecutable case. Compare this to how modern street racers get caught, and you'll see exactly where they fail. Antonio Ginestri, known as Squeeze Benz, started posting New York street racing videos in late 2023. Within months, he was arrested. His mistakes were obvious. He posted from identifiable social media accounts under handles that connected directly to his real identity. He taunted police in videos, making himself a priority target. He posted so frequently in predictable patterns that NYPD knew exactly where to find him. They set up a sting operation and arrested him mid-run. Bryce Cleveland, known as Gixxer Bra, operated in California posting wheelies and highway runs, arrested in 2018. His critical mistake? Showing his face in multiple videos while also showing his bike's unique custom paint and modifications. California Highway Patrol identified his motorcycle through those modifications, matched it to DMV registration records, executed a search warrant, and convicted him on multiple charges. The pattern is crystal clear. Everyone who got caught made at least one of these mistakes, showed their face while riding, showed their license plate clearly, posted from identifiable personal accounts, included metadata revealing location and time, filmed too frequently in predictable patterns, rode bikes traceable to registered owners. Patrick made none of these mistakes, not once in over 20 years across hundreds of hours of footage. Before we go further, if you're starting to understand just how calculated this entire operation was, hit that like button. And if you want to see more deep dives into the strategy behind legendary figures in motorsport, subscribe and turn on notifications. And this is just scratching the surface. Now let's talk about that world record. On April 18th, 1999, at Bruntingthorpe Proving Ground in England, Patrick Furstenhoff balanced a turbocharged Honda Super Blackbird on its rear wheel at 191.3 miles per hour. Guinness certified it as the fastest wheelie ever recorded. That record did two critical things for him. First, it established his credibility in the motorcycle world as someone operating at an elite professional level. When Ghost Rider videos started appearing 3 years later, showing similarly impossible riding, the community immediately suspected someone with world-class abilities. The wheelie technique, the throttle control, the body positioning, everything matched what Patrick had demonstrated publicly. Second, it created legal cover. When Swedish tabloids started naming him as Ghost Rider in 2007, Patrick could point to his legitimate career as a world record holder and professional motorcycle mechanic. He wasn't just some criminal street racer, he was a recognized expert in motorcycle performance who happened to sell DVDs. That ambiguity, combined with Sweden's strict identification requirements, made prosecution nearly impossible. Patrick later set another wheelie record at 220 miles per hour on a 500 horsepower turbocharged Suzuki Hayabusa, which Guinness also certified. Nobody has beaten either record in over 2 decades because the skill and engineering required exist in maybe a handful of people worldwide. So who is this man when he's not terrorizing highways? Patrick Furstenhoff was born June 21, 1968, which means he was 31 years old when he set that first wheelie record in 1999, and he's 57 years old today in 2025. He's a Swedish ex-racer and mechanic based in Stockholm, widely believed to be Ghost Rider, and was a member of the Swedish wheelie team. His background includes professional racing experience and mechanical expertise building turbocharged motorcycles. That combination of riding skill and engineering knowledge is what made the Ghost Rider operation possible. Beyond that, verified information about his personal life is limited. He's maintained privacy deliberately, never giving interviews that would force him to officially confirm his identity as Ghost Rider, never appearing on camera without protective gear, and never providing details that prosecutors could use. September 24, 2022. After 11 years of complete silence, a video appeared on the Ghost Rider YouTube channel. Same road from the original 2002 run, same black Hayabusa, same riding style. Except now Patrick was 54 years old and still averaging over 280 kilometers per hour through traffic, still escaping police with the same precision he demonstrated 2 decades earlier. The comeback proved he hadn't lost his skills, but more importantly, it proved something else. This wasn't just about legacy. The comeback was a business decision that made financial sense. 6 months later, in April 2023, a new rider appeared. Same all-black gear, same helmet setup, same riding style, demonstrating professional-level skills. The internet nicknamed him Junior, and the Ghost Rider brand stopped being one person and became a legacy that could continue indefinitely. The strategic value is obvious. When Patrick eventually retires, someone else continues. The brand outlives its creator. This is what separates Patrick from every other street racer. They built personal reputations. He built an institution. Swedish law has been updated since 2002. Video evidence is admissible under more circumstances now. Digital forensics can establish identity. License plate readers are everywhere. Traffic cameras have higher resolution. Facial recognition software exists. So why is Patrick still getting away with it? Because he adapts faster than the system pursuing him. When traffic cameras improved, he planned routes through areas with less coverage. When license plate readers became standard, he developed methods to obscure plates that work against automated systems. When geolocation tracking became common, he started stripping metadata from uploads. The fundamental strategy hasn't changed. Deny prosecutors the specific evidence they need while creating compelling content. But the tactics evolve as technology advances. Most importantly, Patrick knows when to walk away. After retiring in 2011, he stayed completely silent for 11 years. No leaks, no rumors, complete disappearance until conditions were right to return. That discipline is what separates 23 years of operation from 8 months followed by arrest. Ghost Rider isn't about being the fastest rider or having the most powerful bike. It's about understanding systems deeply enough to operate in the gaps between rules. Patrick understands motorcycle engineering well enough to build machines that shouldn't exist and keep them reliable at speeds that would destroy normal bikes. He understands traffic law well enough to know exactly what evidence prosecutors need and how to deny them that evidence systematically. And he understands when to push and when to disappear. Every street racer who watched Ghost Rider videos and thought, "I can do that," missed the foundation completely. They saw speed and police chases. They didn't see years studying Swedish traffic law. They didn't see the engineering expertise required to build and maintain those machines. They didn't see the discipline to stay silent for 11 years when conditions weren't favorable. So they copied the surface and got arrested within months. As of December 2025, Patrick Furstenhoff is 57 years old. The Ghost Rider YouTube channel has 1.83 million subscribers. His wheelie records from 1999 still stand after 26 years. Swedish prosecutors still haven't charged him with anything related to decades of Ghost Rider videos. But here's what nobody wants to say out loud. We're celebrating a man who's been risking his life and potentially encouraging others to risk theirs for content and profit for over 2 decades. Is that legendary engineering and tactical genius? Absolutely. Is it also reckless endangerment turned into entertainment? Also, yes. Patrick Furstenhoff balanced a 500 horsepower motorcycle on one wheel at 307 kilometers per hour and set a world record that still stands 26 years later. Then he spent 2 decades proving that record wasn't a fluke. It was evidence of someone operating at a level most people can't comprehend. He built machines that shouldn't exist. He exploited legal frameworks most people don't understand, and he did it all while staying just ahead of every system designed to stop him. The question isn't whether that's impressive. It obviously is. The question is, what are we actually celebrating? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments below. And if this changed how you see the Ghost Rider legend, hit subscribe, because this conversation is far from over.